Oh, crap. I wasn't supposed to.
Hello.
Oh, my gosh. This is what happens sometimes. Okay. Okay.
1 second. Tawnie's going to come in here when she gets the right one, and we'll get started. So wonderful to see all y'all today. In 1 second, guys. Oh, there we go.
There we go. It's oh my gosh. Is it not going to let me go on? What the heck? It says requested.
I don't know why the computer doesn't want to bring Tawnie in today. What's going on? There we go.
Is it working? Should I come out and come back in? What the heck? Are you...
Okay, guys, here we go. We had to, as a minute, I was about to say we're going to have to start chanting like, Tawnie, 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 where are you?
Is it?
Oh, is it really not trying to let you in?
I'm going to come... I'll try to come back in. It's so funny.
Let my girl be great. Bring her in here, y'all.
Okay, let's...
Okay, that's totally fine. We're going to get it popping when Tawnie gets in here, you guys. It is saying I'll try to come back.
Ooh, IG, you being silly.
It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you for being patient.
We've been having issues, but we're going to make it work.
But
we are going to make it work.
Exactly what it's about. You got to keep trying. It actually goes kind of perfectly into what you were saying you were listening to earlier.
Oh, yeah. So thinking about that. And before, guys, I was just giving Tawnie a brief on what I was listening to earlier. And it was talking about the topic of what if. We can go right into it and say, what if Tawnie couldn't sign in on that page? That's why Tawnie has another one called the Neuro Mermaid. So Tawnie, the Neuro Mermaid, didn't want to let her in. But next we would have taken the next step to go to the Neuro Mermaid. So what if we like to say the glass half full versus the glass half empty? So as I've been talking about May 1st, this is our beautiful month to celebrate stroke awareness. So with that being said, we're learning new positive ways to live and love out loud with what we are dealing with, our process of recovery, everyday life. So this is what we're talking about, glass half full versus glass half empty. We kept smiling, even though Tawnie couldn't get in here. And guess what? She's here. But if we would have said in that, what if it would have been like, oh gosh, Tracey's on here by herself. But at the same time, it's totally fine because I do this by myself. But we don't even have to go there. So all of those things, and I'm saying all that, you guys, just to throw this out there. So our topic today is called the what ifs. And in retrospect, what is the what ifs? And why do we sit into the what ifs at times? I'm asking you that because I want you to think about it. But if we really sit back to say, why do we put ourselves in that what if mode? That thought process is because of fear. That thought process takes us as, what if I never regain my strength back in my affected side? What if I never can truly walk again? What if my speech does not get better? What if I always have this limp? I always have this visible disability. What if? But the problem with that is that's not thinking glass half full if we continue to stay on this what if. The problem with that is because it sits us in that current fear of what if is where you are now. And that what if is bringing up the past to say, hey, I don't think I can move forward from that. So that's why I don't want us to sit in the what ifs. And that's today we are going to talk about what that what if does to our psyche, what that what if does as it truly paralyzes us to be stuck in our situation and not being able to see future, not being able to see more, not being able to see past the what if, past the, hey, where do I go now? So how do we get out of that? And with this glass half full, I want us to imagine the greater life. I want us to imagine the joys of walking, running, talking, doing all the things that we love to do. And I don't want you to say, oh, I used to do it this way. No, doing all the things that we love to do because we're finding a new love. finding a new journey, finding a new joy to give us a smile every day, to give us that enjoyment to get up out of bed, because today I get a new opportunity. What if I sit in the fact that I know I want more, sit in the fact that I see myself in the future as this beautiful person running down the street, see myself in the future as, if you're single, married with my family, see myself as if you're a person that's alone right now, see yourself surrounded by these beautiful people that love you, surrounded by these people that give you joy, surrounded by the things. So how do we do that, guys? So I want you to paint a picture. So with that, actually will have you to sit in your mind and imagine something, the brightest picture that you can imagine. And I mean, you're probably like, how can I imagine this bright future when I'm currently sitting in a situation? You might be still stuck in a wheelchair. I'm currently sitting in a situation that I went from pure independence to now I am depending on other people to do these things for me. Let's not think about where we are right now. Let's now paint this picture of this beautiful soul that I want to get to. I am going to be doing this. I'm going to take it even deeper. I can literally tell you picture by picture to what my tile floor looks like, or what my house looks like before I even step foot in it. So because I took this imagination to say, I'm going to paint this out for you, this is what I want you to do for your life and for your future. I can tell you, when I walk into this blue house, when I walk into this yellow kitchen, when I walk into this granite backsplash, all of these things, I can paint it for you, but I've never seen it. I have this porch on the front yard, the backyard. I can literally paint it step by step. I can draw it out for you as well, but that's what I want you to do for your life. Draw it out. So you can imagine it first. Now draw it out step by step. What shoes do you have on this beautiful day that you wanna imagine yourself? You can pick a day. It doesn't have to be so outlandish as to say, oh, I don't know what that looks like in 5 years. Let's pick a day in the future to say, this is what I'm gonna look like. This is why I'm gonna be smiling. This is who's gonna be with me. All those things. That's why I really want you to paint this picture of enjoyment as, what if outside of our thought process of where we're gonna go?
So
Somebody
I am, it was me. I was like,
yes,
okay,
listen, he walked in and said,
breathe. So you hit it a couple times. You said I get to. So changing, and that was the mindset switch up that helped me, like in physical therapy and anything, instead of being like, I have to do this to get blah, blah, blah. I get to. And I know how frustrating it can be when we've all done it. We have all been, it used to be like this. And that is the number one reason why it does not need to be mermaiding. I know I'm silly, but finding something you never did before your injury, because then I don't compare it to, well, it used to be this way. You never did it before. It's all new. There's going to be uncomfortable situations. It's all learning. There's no losses. It's all strengthening me for something. And maybe, it's finding friends to talk to, because I can tell you early in my recovery, it was about, I was a teacher. So if I did not have my students that I had to show up for every day, my depression anxiety was really bad. And I remember at one point telling my mom, because they misdiagnosed me for so long, that I had half done brain surgery. So for my first 6 months, every month they were scanning me to see, are her coils holding? Is her built up spinal cord fluid getting better? Are we going to have to stunt her, put in another coil? What are we doing? And I told my mom, how am I supposed to plan for the future when every month I don't know if I'm going to have another brain surgery? And that's when I realized, I go, I have to live for the now and for the future. And I have to celebrate that right now. I don't know if I'm going to have a surgery or not, but I feel good. And I'm going to try and, as I say, squeeze the joy out of it as much as I can. Of course, I hate toxic positivity. I don't want to say that you're always going to be rainbows and sunshine. You have to feel every freaking emotion. And the more I tried to stifle that, the more it came out in other areas. Like I would come to the school and I would tell everybody, I'm fine. But every single day I was crying and having breakdowns. So, just realizing that those emotions are temporary, like you will go through them. And like, I just always remind myself, like, I get the chance to get better. Like, there will come a time when I won't be in all this pain. There will come a time where I'm going to stop and look back and see how far I've come. And so when I get really down, that's what I really try to remind myself is like not to look back at look what could have been, but to be like, girl, we're not supposed to be here. So no matter how crappy it feels, at least I'm above ground. So
I love that. So I thought you were going to hit on it. Your what if, after everybody said we don't know, every month you're going in for brain surgery, you don't know. I would say you took your what ifs and you stepped past it, because if you want to talk about when did you become this mermaid, when did you have this future picture, this imagination that I am this beautiful mermaid that's so much, that's full of light, that's full of joy. I'm gracing this. So let's go into that. That was Tawnie's what if moment. She imagined something greater and said, "This is what I'm stepping into."
I did. I was on bed rest and I was cruising through YouTube. I did not have, I still had my eye patch on. So watching TV far away was weird. So I watched a lot of YouTube shorts and things, or shorts weren't then, doesn't matter. And I found the mermaid community and I was like, oh my gosh, there's like people actually swimming as mermaids. Like that is so cool. And I'm stuck in my bed. And at my parents' house in Ohio, my one wall is a beach. And when I tell you, you can manifest because that beach, I have a picture of me a couple years later in Fiji on that beach, I swear to you. And I said, I want to have a mermaid tail with my brain scan on it. Like, how cool would that be to make something pretty? And like, I could raise awareness and how awesome. And people were like, that's insane. I was living in Ohio. How am I going to do any of that? And yet I kept saying it, I kept believing it, and it kept pushing me through. And not only do I have that, but during brain aneurysm awareness, I rappelled down a 14-story building in Union Square of San Francisco in that tail. Like that, to if you say that to me, they're like, that sounds crazy. Like that's not possible. Things are possible when you put your mind to it. And like Tracey said, you imagine it. Like I imagined it so many times, like looking down at my leg and I'm just gonna see this tail. I didn't know what colors yet. I didn't know any of those things, but the feelings, and like Trey said, I can feel myself in that spot, in those things. So like if you can look, what is your dream house? Because I can tell you right now, we all have different dream houses. Some people might think I want a huge, I actually want a lot of land because I want a lot of animals. You know, Tracy, she said she wants a yellow kitchen. So how many times a day do you sit there and do you imagine yourself in that place? And also, I want to switch it up on you. I want to ask you, Tracey, have you ever done it? So there's 3 points of view. There's the point of view when you're in it, and then there's the point of view when you manifest and you're like a camera watching it happen. So you're seeing everything. And then are you another person watching you live it? I was like, I've never imagined it that way, like through somebody else's eyes coming in or watching me, have my first car and do a road trip cross country. Like, what will that look like?
Hey, that's awesome. Listen, listen, we're going to step into that, because that right there just opened up a whole nother portal of a mindset. Like, to not only just sit in and imagine it, but to be the person on the outside, seeing myself sit into that. That right there is going to bring more beauty into this imagination of picturing better for our life, to imagination of, hey, there is better. If we can dream it, we can get to it, guys. And that's what I want us to be. That's the mindset I want us to grasp right now for this month of May. We can dream it. We can get to it. So where we are right now, so I see some people are just joining in. So where you are right now, I don't want us to be stuck in that. I want us to paint this bigger and better and more beautiful, the brightest picture that you can see for yourself. And as Tawnie just added to it, don't just paint this picture. We're going to sit in it. Imagine yourself in this And then imagine yourself as the third person on the outside saying, oh my gosh, the joy that she or he has, the joy of sitting them seeing this, the joy of them actually being in this moment. It's a beautiful thing. So we are going to practice that as we're doing everything else. Listen, every day we go down here, we're adding more things to the plate of our mile walk every day to Tawnie now adding those exercises of those straight leg raises every day, 3 times a week. So even us thinking with a different mindset of glass half full, but taking it past what we are right now and imagining so much better. And I even thought to say, I'm always going to praise God and talk about the Bible. But God says, we have not because we ask not. And even we may say some things that we think of that we deserve and want for ourselves is so outlandish. But God is saying still, it's small. What you're saying you want for yourself, the greatest thing you want for yourself, you're thinking, oh my gosh, it may be too big. God is saying it's still not big enough. So what God said is still not big enough, girl, whatever you can, girl, he or she, boy, whoever I'm talking to, whatever you can imagine, triple that because you can have it all. So there is, as we think about so many things, the sky is the limit. I want us to live this life of the sky is the limit. And if you think about it, I'm always preaching of the reason we're here at building this community and talking about it is we want y'all to grasp the how to live and love life in spite of where we are today, in spite of everything that we're going through, in spite of that we don't see past it. But we're talking about today, we are telling you ways that you can see past it, that you can see into this brighter, better future, this brighter, better you, this person that all of the things that you can imagine. And again, I have not said it purposely as to say, hey, I want to get to where Tawnie or Tracey is. No. Me versus me. We don't even talk about us. Because guess what? The day you have the stroke, today you're better than that. I guarantee you. Today you are better than that. So even if it's somebody on here that had it yesterday, the fact that you're alive today is still better. So we want to grasp all of those things when we're looking at, hey, this is going to be me. And as we're telling you to imagine that, I want you to not only paint this picture, have it in the forefront every single day as you are waking up. Every day. Let's speak, let's think, let's put ourselves in that right now.
Absolutely. And how you said that, we've done it like, wow, they got this back. But I can tell you, comparison is the thief of all joy. Every single time I go, well, how come that? It's like you're upsetting yourself, and I'm giving myself more anxiety, more depression by comparing when we have completely different brains, bodies, what we went through, all of those things. But like, I'm probably going to butcher the quote, but it's like, God wouldn't put that in your mind if you weren't supposed to have like it. And it's true that what you imagine, you will have so much more. Like the mermaid tail, I could have, like my grandma goes, was that on your bucket list to do that? I go, Rhodey, I never knew I could rappel in a mermaid tail. Never would have thought it, wanted it, but it was an experience that now I want to do every year to raise awareness so that for you to go, I want to do it in a mermaid tail like Tawnie, but maybe for you to go, she did some crazy stuff. What other crazy stuff can I do? So like, and that's what has helped me so much sharing was that I still get scared. And I did that at the top of that tower. I was like, I've told all these people I'm going to do it. And there's all these cameras and there's news crews. And like, I go, what if I pee my pants up here? I went to the bathroom 4 times before we went. Like Joe was like, there's no way anything else can come out of you. I'm like, bro, I'm afraid I'm going to pee on everyone in like Union Square. Okay. You don't know how nervous I get. I know everybody thinks I'm all okay, but I have learned every time I'm so scared and I don't want to do something, usually on the other side, I find so much more relief and like, it wasn't that bad. Like I will tell you, I know me and Tracey are working out in front of you guys. I'm embarrassed, okay? I told you, I said it. I don't like to suck wind in front of everyone and not look strong, but I know that by doing that, hopefully it's going to get some of us to move more and you're going to see my progress. So when there's some of you who join and I finally have arms like Tracey and you're going to go, oh, of course it's easy for you guys. I'm going to go back to Noodle Girl and see how like wiggly woogly I was. And it took work. Like, I want to barf. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's beautiful, Tawnie. That's beautiful. I'm reading Gilly that's commenting here. It's like everything Tawnie is saying is hitting and touching. So many
Thank
people
you.
y'all saying it's touching y'all, but it's touching me. Like all of those points that she's making as she spoke out loud, and she lives out loud, because if she would have allowed that fear to set in, she would have never been sitting here today talking about her, whatever the word is. Listen, I say her ass dropped down to the side of the side of this crazy building and in a mermaid costume. There are technical words of how you said it, but I see that like, oh Lord Jesus.
I know I said that one time. I was like, I was flying down a 14-story building. Someone's like, what? I was like, okay, rappelling.
Okay, she said repellent. Listen, she was flying down the side of a 14-story building. So that's what I'm saying. If she would have stuck with the what if, like, what if I pee on myself? What if I get scared in the middle and said I'm not doing it? Guess what? She did it.
Oh, and
because she imagined that she could do it. She freaking did it, y'all. And she's able to talk about it today. And now she's throwing it out there to say that's something she's going to do every year. And she might top it. It might be a 28 story. She might top it because she took herself out of that moment of what if and says, no, I can see myself down at the bottom. I can see better. I can see people, the news channels replaying this back and inspiring so many people and saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This young lady with 2 brain aneurysms. So all of these things, like, that joy, that thing that she imagined was so small at that thought that came to her head, but it ended up being 10 times bigger because even though people may not have reached out to her immediately, but she was able to bring so many people out of their stuck moment or their what if, or out of their glass half empty versus their glass half full. That gave so many people life. And I'm speaking because I know the fact of being able to see that and then to hear the story, baby, a lot of people that was sitting in bed like, hey, maybe not feeling like living anymore, seeing that story, it was like, hey. And guess what? At the end of the day, that's what life is about. Being able to change one person, give one person hope and a different way to live and love life. I'm going to keep saying live and love life out loud. We're learning how to love and live life out loud in spite of where we are today. Picking up, hey, I am here today, but I can see greater. I can see brighter, and I want more for myself. That right there gives us joy to push ourselves further every single day, y'all.
That's exactly what I just said. I was like, I used my strength from all of you guys. So that is why I share, and that has helped me. And Joe had to be with me up there. Like, I was doing deep breathing. I was using all of my techniques. So thank you guys for saying that. And it's just so wonderful to watch so many of us doing different things. So please don't think you have to do crazy 14 story, but like, I just love every time I see any of us warriors doing something. I'm like, you don't realize not only did you do that for you, but you did that for all of us. Like, you doing that gave us inspiration, gave us motivation that we can tell people. Like, my favorite thing, because I always get asked, why would you do that? And I always say, why not? Like, why wouldn't I? Why not? Aww.
Absolutely. Why not? Like, that's why I said one person is 1,000 people. Yeah, you can read that comment. I seen that comment.
Elizabeth said, my doctor said it's been 10 years, so nothing will come back, and it discouraged me, so I don't even try anymore. Do you think, first of all, F him, just going to say that, and I'm going to connect you to my friend CJ, who's 10 years out, and he just showed something that he did with his affected hand, that he goes, I've been doing this technique. Everyone told me you're never going to have it back. 10 years later, boom, it happens. So yes, there is neuroplasticity. So absolutely do not let him discourage you. Nobody knows how the brain really actually all is working. So we are capable of so much more. And I have found where there's a will, there's a way. I am not telling you it is going to look exactly like you think it is. It's going to look different. It's going to be a different timeline, but like, I've seen so many people do so many incredible things that they were told by doctors specifically, like, you will never do that. Me, I was told I will never walk both my dogs again. You will never go on a walk by yourself. You will never walk both your dogs. I walk both my dogs. I used to have my cat and my bearded dragon in backpacks and go live just to prove him wrong. So yes. Oh, and Dawn said, yes, I am 10 years out and I see something I can do all the time. And I'm sure you have a lot to say about that.
Absolutely. Listen, I love that. So guess what, guys? Our topic today is what if. So what if I had said in the fact that the doctor said, hey, you may not walk. Statistics says you're going to be disabled for the rest of life. You may still be in a wheelchair. You may not do all these things. Guess what? I wouldn't be sitting here today smiling, jumping on the video yesterday, jumping around, doing squats, throwing my hands up, all of these things. Hello, I'm left side affected that they said was paralyzed. I am a hand talker. I'm a move around person. Like, how would that look for if the Lord took that away? No, listen. My what if I did not allow that? He said statistics look like. So let me tell you how I dissected his what if. His what if was based off of statistics. His what if was based off of the amount of measure of training that he had. So that could be the textbook knowledge. That could be the knowledge that he's taken in thus far. That was 2019. I said it a couple weeks ago, we need to rewrite statistics. Unfortunately, statistics still state about the same thing. That we are number one disabled once you have a stroke. We're the number one disabled. Okay, guess what? Statistics also state that if you don't get it back within that year, you're stuck, you're not going to get it. Let me again go into the statistic because that what if would have kept us there. So those old statistics is the what if, guys. My imagination instantly went to, you don't know the God I serve. So what if you knew that God was sovereign? What if you decided to say, hey, these are the statistics that was written in the textbook knowledge that I have, but guess what, young lady? If you have a greater faith or if you have a greater imagination, statistics may state this, but you can run, you can talk, you can do all these things, you can move your hands, you can continue to be a hand talker, all of these things. But if I would allow that what if to sink into my mind, that what if would have paralyzed me, not only in that moment, but that what if would have paralyzed my future. So his what if instantly turned into my imagination. It's going to take me further than where you could think or what you have in the forefront of your mind. So that's a great one. Thank you, Elizabeth, for adding that on here. We talked about that before. So guys, what I want you to take from that is do not allow someone else's what if, which is their doubts, your own doubts, all of these things as something that have happened in the past, that what if is the past. Do not allow that to resonate with you. Do not allow that to take over you moving forward and pushing yourself for better and for more, because again, this what we're doing is all about learning to love and live life in spite of where we are today, in spite of anything that we're going through, in spite of the statistics, in spite of the negativity, in spite of all those things, guys. We're not sitting in a what if. We're sitting in, oh, it's beautiful. We're sitting in, oh, it's better. Oh, with the joy that I have to know that I'm about to get there. That's what I want us to, out of anything you're going to take in this process of being warriors, I want you to say, it's beautiful tomorrow. The next hour is going to be beautiful. So we put our mindset there, baby. We're going to get to that beautiful moment every single time.
And you can look at the statistics. What I always would bring up to them, I go, okay, well, statistically, I shouldn't be here, and I am. So I keep being on the oddball of the statistics. So let's not take what you're telling me about the fact that I'm not going to be able to do that, because I am going to be able to do that. So I would always flip it on them about that. So, you can't, like, it's, how do you look at it? Glass half full or half empty? Absolutely. I choose to look at it that we're all lucky to be here.
I appreciate that. Dawn said, I can't see that. Dawn
we are glad the two of you are doing what you for us. Great subject. So like what we're talking about.
Awesome. Yes. We appreciate you as well, Dawn. I'm sorry, I can't see all the messages.
I read over there. That's what I was got the Elizabeth and the Dawn. I just didn't read that last comment yet. But if you guys do have specific things you do want us to talk about, our inboxes are open. And I just have to give a side note. I can't comment until May 14th. So I'm not trying to be rude to anyone. I can't like or comment. All I can do is go live or post. So I apologize.
So yes, if y'all need to get in contact with Tawnie or want her to respond to something, send it to me and I'll call her.
Well, no, you can DM me. You can still DM me. My inbox works. It's just
she cannot leave a live message or anything, guys. So she is still here. She is not gone. The what if has not taken her out. The what if has said, hey, I got something bigger for you. You say I can't do it on here? Y'all gonna contact me via DM. Y'all gonna contact me on my other page. So all of those things, guys. So that's what we really want you to take from this today. Let's live in I can see bigger, better. I want bigger, better. I can truly paint this picture. And then as Tawnie added, let's not just see it, let's live in that moment. And if we really can live in that moment every single day, we can wake up every day with a smile. And then look at the person on the outside as that third person, looking at you, enjoying this beautiful moment that you want and that you get to have. Because we get to have a second chance, because we get to have this breath of life to enjoy, to think for better, to think about more. So guys, this is what we want you to really take in. For this month of May, we're giving you this opportunity to figure out how to think glass half full versus half empty. And if we can grasp that one little, I forgot what it's called, but we can grasp that little bit, baby, we're going to live out loud. In spite of what anybody says, in spite of where our body is doing, what our body is doing at this moment, we are going to live the best life that we can and the best life that we want.
And then Dawn just said, my doctor said when I came out of the hospital that I would never get out of a wheelchair, but the next visit 1 month later, I was walking. Thank you for saying that. And the more of you guys who share that, celebrating yourself also is inspiring someone. Because I'm going to tell you in the beginning, I never comment. I just watched other survivors. I was not ready to talk about it. I felt like I was so different. I don't know how we could connect. And I can tell you there's probably a lot of people watching. So your comment could inspire and motivate somebody. So thank you for that. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Tracey.
Thank you, guys. That is our time. We love you all. We will see y'all. Remember, Wednesdays for our live workouts and Thursdays for our conversations. So if you want us to talk about a specific subject, send us a message. And we love speaking out loud because God has given us both a voice to speak out loud and be advocates for our community. So say, yo, talk about this. I got you.
Absolutely.
And we don't have to call nobody's name out, but we just love to be able to support y'all in any way that we can. All right, guys. We will see y'all later.
Appreciate you guys. Bye.